Hello everyone, my name is Aaron Woodman and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will talk about how relationships function. When we think about what relationships mean, they are bridges that connect you to knowledge, opportunities, and people. A bridge is something that must have structure to be stable. This is how relationships work, where you need to keep them stable for them to effectively work with people you engage with. Here are some things to keep in mind as we talk about relationships. 1. Relationships are connections between two people with a reciprocal beneficial exchange. 2. Relationships are the negotiation of needs, which is the intersection of your needs and my needs. 3. Relationships start and grow through a specific effort to take the relationship further, which are bits. 4. Relationships deepen through transparency and curiosity. 5. Relationships can be built with people quite different from you, which requires you to be flexible with adapting to differences. 6. Relationship problems are often caused by a breakdown or change in the your needs and my needs equation. Let's break down these 6 things, starting with reciprocal exchange. A relationship is a connection between two people with a reciprocal beneficial exchange. Exchange includes giving, receiving, and sharing. You can give, receive, and share many things. You can share experiences where both of you were part of the same organization together, both of you were next door neighbors for a long time, etc. You can share similarities where both of you like sports, both of you work in the educational field, both of you like reading political books, etc. You can share information, advice, and feedback where you give advice to someone on how to search for a new job, where you recommend a book to someone that you think they will like. You tell someone where they can go to get gas at an affordable price, etc. You could share your interests, attention, and concern, where you show an interest in someone's hobbies. You ask someone about their hometown. You check in with someone you have not seen in a long time, etc. You can share gifts and celebrations where you attend someone's graduation ceremony, you buy someone a present, etc. You could share your presence and time where you visit someone at their house, you can get coffee with someone just to catch up, etc. You can provide help, service, and contributions where you help your parents clean their house or do yard work. You help connect someone to a person they want to meet, etc. You can show appreciation, validation, and respect where you send a gratitude message to someone for helping you learn about something. You listen and ask thoughtful questions to someone, etc. You could share your social capital where you write a recommendation letter for someone to get a new opportunity or talk that person up to a decision maker, etc. Those are the common things people can share to establish a relationship with someone. Now, keep in mind that in professional relationships, reciprocity is often inexact. Someone could offer you insightful career advice, and you may offer that person appreciation instead of your advice back. That is okay. You do not have to feel compelled to offer a big thing in return immediately after someone gives you advice. The thing that matters most in the moment is showing you listened to them and you appreciated their time talking to you. You want to make sure you are not unfairly taking advantage of the other person. Reciprocity can also be asynchronous. You could do an important favor for someone today, and it might take some time for them to do something for you back. You usually cannot predict how you might help someone in the future, but that is a unique thing about relationships. Time will pass, and then suddenly a good thing will happen to you in return. Still, make sure you interact with people because you genuinely want to and not always expect something in return immediately. You do not want to give the impression that someone owes you something for helping them out, but instead you need to let them want to give you support back when the time is right because they genuinely want to do that. Let's proceed to the my needs and your needs dynamic. Your relationship with people is a negotiation between your needs and other people's needs. Everyone has needs, and the more you can identify the other person's actual needs, the better you can manage the relationship. Further, the more curious you are about your own needs, the more clear-minded you are going to be when it comes to relationships. When people argue for a long time or coexist in mutual frustration, it is often because they are they are locking into positions that do not reflect their underlying needs instead of attending to them. Sometimes needs are obvious, and sometimes they require some more digging. Particular positions can represent different needs. Let's look at some examples of position statements and identify the needs from them. Position statement, quote, I want to see this movie. And the need statement is essentially, quote, I need entertainment. I need time where it's just us together, unquote. Another position statement, quote, you're leaving me out of the loop, unquote. Which is the need statement going to be, quote, I need to feel included. I need information necessary to do my job, unquote. Another position statement, quote, I don't want to go to Paris. I want to go to Florida, unquote. And that need statement is, quote, I need sun. I need relaxation, unquote. Another position statement, quote, I don't want to start our meetings with lengthy personal check-ins, unquote. And that need statement is, quote, I need to use my limited time effectively. I need to resolve the issues in front of us, unquote. Another position statement, quote, I want to start meetings with a personal check-in, unquote. And that need statement is, quote, I need to feel connected to everyone. I need to express what I'm experiencing before I can dig into business, unquote. Another position statement, quote, you never give me positive feedback, unquote. And that need statement is, quote, I need to feel valued. I need to feel I am giving, unquote. Based on these examples, it shows that we will need to think about the importance of someone conveying their needs to us. As nice as it would be for people to explicitly say what they really need, not everyone will do that, and we need to dig deep into their position statement to understand the reason for them saying it. Having a relationship with someone involves reading people's cues with their needs. Let's proceed to making, recognizing, and answering bids. Bids are how relationships deepen. A bid is a statement, request, or action that signifies that you are interested in moving forward with something. It is a sign that you are giving to someone that you want to increase your connection with someone else, as well as the other way around. For example, let's say someone says to you, quote, I'm thinking of taking a cooking class. Do you want to take it with me, unquote? This request potentially has two meanings. The first is the simple question of whether you are interested in the class or not. The second is a relationship bid with the possible underlying meanings. Quote, I would like us to have this fun experience together, unquote. Or, quote, let's get to know each other outside of work, unquote. Or, quote, I like your advice on what I should be learning, unquote. Bids occur at the start of relationships and continue all the way through. Here are some examples of what these bids can sound like. Quote, let's grab lunch sometime. Or I'd like to add you to my LinkedIn network. Or I thought you might find this podcast interesting, so I'm sending it to you. Or I have some extra time. Do you have any projects I can help you with? Etc., unquote. Sometimes a bid comes in the form of a request for service. Here are some examples. Quote, I am the chair of this committee. Would you consider joining this committee? Or could you look at this email I'm sending and see if it looks good to you, etc., unquote. You can accept bids and you can also raise them. For example, if someone holds a fundraiser and you attend, you are accepting the bid. If you bring 2 friends or forward the invitation to 10 other people, you are raising the bid. If someone invites you to coffee and you say yes, you are accepting the bid. If you then invite them to Thanksgiving dinner, you are raising the bid. Those are how you make bids and learn to recognize and respond to them. Let's proceed to talking about how relationships deepen through curiosity and transparency. In relationships, you talk. How you talk can determine whether the relationship stays superficial or deepens. There are other ways that relationships deepen, such as sharing experiences, but talking is a big one. Talking in a way that deepens relationships requires curiosity and transparency. Curiosity means authentically wondering who another person is. If you spend time with someone but they never ask you about your background, experiences, hobbies, opinions, or needs, you probably won't feel close with them. You feel unseen and may wonder if the person has any actual interest in you. Transparency means you share more of who you are, including your goals, skills, and ambitions. This can include the parts that are not so shiny and put together, such as your fears, doubts, insecurities, and uncertainties. Remember, you should only share what you feel comfortable with, but this is important for showing you are not a perfect person and you want to find ways to improve yourself as a person. Good relationships have a balance of curiosity and transparency. Keep in mind that the right balance depends on the two specific people involved. Some people go deep quickly, and other people practice more moderation. One reason work relationships can feel so unsatisfying is that they often lack this combination of curiosity and transparency. It is not uncommon for a person to spend hundreds of hours working with others on a project, but never feel understood as a human. You can be commended for good work and yet feel like shouting, "Hello, there's a person here." Working in a company or organization or going to a professional event is different from hanging out with friends. We are at work to do a job. To some degree, we are all managing how people perceive us, which is fine, but we could be more curious about others and we could reveal more about ourselves to help deepen the connections we have with people. After all, this is about making sure we do not think of relationships as just talking with another person or completing an assignment together, but rather truly understand the person's characteristics and reasons for why they do certain things in their community. Let's talk about you building relationships with people quite different from you. There are many types of difference and diversity in our world. People have different personalities and different lived experiences. You have more or less money than other people. Your sexual orientation, ethnicity, and class background may affect how you see the world and possibly how you communicate. They also affect the assumptions you make about others and the assumptions they make about you. Because of this, we need to build relationships with people who look and think differently than us. We all live in the same community together and function differently. So we need to truly know each of us are who each of us are and what we all need to succeed. If not, then we will not recognize each person's circumstances and have false assumptions about them because we did not take the time to get to know them. Let's end by talking about how relationship problems are often caused by a breakdown or change in the your needs, my needs equation. No relationship is going to be perfect. Relationships inevitably run into uncertainties, tensions, and problems. You can't solve every relationship problem, particularly since another person is always involved. But in many cases, you can improve things by re-examining the your needs and my needs equation. Often there has been a change, slippage, or a breakdown in that equation. One or both parties' needs are not being met. Figure out what is happening on that deeper level, and then you can act. There is the pinch crunch model by John J. Sherwood and John C. Glidewell from the early 1970s that can help us see how breakdowns occur. A crunch is something major. One or both of you are really annoyed with each other. The crunch occupies a lot of space in your brain. When conflict does erupt, both sides already have a stockpile of attributions, are sure of their judgment, and are probably emotional. Constructive conversations are possible, but they take a lot more effort. In contrast, a pinch is a minor irritation, annoyance, or disappointment triggered when your expectations in the relationship have not been met. Let's look at some examples of this. Quote, I worked all weekend on the brief and sent it to the partner, and all this person wrote back was thanks, unquote. It turns out you had the expectation that your partner would recognize your dedication and excellent work. Here's another one. Quote, I'm surprised you sent the deck to the client without making sure that the font sizes were consistent on all the slides, unquote. It turns out you had the expectation that the other person would show attention to detail and display professional standards. The pinches may reflect a breakdown in agreed upon expectations or expectations that you have not communicated. These expectations are in turn reflections of underlying needs. For the first example, your expectation was that the partner would recognize your dedication and excellent work. Your needs were recognition and appreciation. For the second example, your expectation was that the other person would show attention to detail and display professional standards. Your need was to depend on the other person. Now, there can be another side to each story in these examples. Was the partner being mean or just moving through the email too quickly? Is your direct report not client ready, or does the other person not share your concerns about font consistency? We have to think about these things before we rush to conclusions that may or may not be true. Pinches annoy us, but we still don't want to make a big deal about something small. The problem is that pinches add up. That's because ignoring a pinch rarely means forgetting it. Instead, we add it to the file, and if we don't discuss it with the other person, we stamp it with our own interpretation that could, again, be true or false. We assume something that is not guaranteed to be true, but we end up treating it as the truth unless it is said otherwise. The best way to deal with crunches is to prevent them by dealing with pinches before they become crunches. Here's how to do that. First, return to the your needs and my needs equation and start with curiosity. Ask yourself why this is not working right now. Second, analyze the needs by asking what each person needs. Don't stack your needs as more reasonable than someone else's needs, or worse, say someone else's needs are unreasonable. Instead, use reasonable language to describe each side's needs. Third, have some courage and be willing to bring up, in a calm and respectful way, something that you might normally ignore. The formula is 1, this is what happened. 2, this is how I felt. 3, the story I'm making up in my head is, or 4, I wanted to check this out with you. What are your thoughts? Navigating pinches is a way to get better at the hard parts of relationships. They are bite-sized. They have less emotional content. The other person might wonder why you are bringing up something trivial, but they are also more likely to engage since the matter is easier to resolve. In conclusion, relationships are built through intention, awareness, and care. As we discussed, strong relationships rest on reciprocal exchange, a clear understanding of needs, the courage to make and respond to bids, the willingness to practice curiosity and transparency, meeting people quite different from you, and handling breakdowns when pinches and crunches occur. Relationships grow when we embrace differences, remain flexible, and stay attentive to the small moments that signal we need to address minor conflicts before they turn into major conflicts. When we consistently return to the concept of your needs, my needs, we create relationships that are not only more resilient, but more meaningful. Overall, healthy relationships are less about perfection and more about showing up with empathy, honesty, and a genuine commitment to understanding one another. In the next video, we will talk about how networks function. Until then, please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and turn on the post notifications so you will be notified when I post my next video. I appreciate your support. Remember, you are powerful, you are capable, and you are the changemaker our society needs. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you soon.